Alright, welcome back everybody. My live stream is continuing. We're 2 hours in, but I'm still ready to go, and as far as I can see, everything is going smoothly now. You guys can still write me in a chat. I'm looking at that once in a while, and I still have plenty of challenges, so let's see who I will put up next. Yeah, it turns out in the last game I just played, I actually want to win on time, obviously because my position was so bad, but I think we played with 1 second increment per move. This is why I was confused and I didn't know what was going on. Okay, so now I'm playing against Lex and Wolf from Ecuador. Alright. The black pieces, and I'm waiting for his first move. As always, I can only wait so long. Oh, there he goes. Okay, and I've only played c5 today, so let's play e5 and see how that goes. And we have a Rai Lopez. And what do I want to play? I'll play knight f6, play b5, play bishop c5. This is something I've played a long time ago, and honestly I don't know much about it anymore. I do know that d3 is not the most critical move. Usually people play with c3 and with d4. This is another approach. He wants to place his knight on d5 at some point, probably in this very moment. No! Goes another route, it goes to g3. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, I'll play my bishop back to b6. And now I'll do the same thing, why not? Looks like a sensible maneuver to me. I like this maneuver, knight e7, knight g6. The knight usually is very well placed on g6. The idea is to go to f4, and the knight is also supporting the e5 square, e5 pawn I should say. So this is a very standard maneuver. Now he finally plays d4, but I think I'm very well prepared to meet this move. And I think, for example, I can take and play rook e8 and put on pressure on the pawn on e4. Another idea would be bishop b7. Well, let's see. Bishop b7. I'm a little afraid that I'm leaving this pawn unprotected on f7. Oh, bishop takes f7 was possible with queen b3 following up. He didn't see that. Lucky me. That would have been a strong combination. Okay, how can I increase the pressure? Queen d7 looks good. Connecting the rooks. Maybe can play the bishop to c6. I'm a little worried he might bring his knight to f5, but as long as I have the pressure on e4, he cannot do that yet because the knight has to protect the pawn on e4. So what are my options here? I'm really thinking about it right now. Okay, please d5. That changes the nature of the position, because now there's some squares and he plays knight f5. That was his idea. This is why he played d5. Okay, interesting. Knight on f5 is quite annoying. Okay. Yeah. Knight d4 is also a move which is bothering me. I'll play knight e7. I think he has a very nice position here. I have some problems. So at least he's not winning my bishop on b5, but this knight is really strong. I have to find a way to get rid of this knight. So I play queen d8, bishop d7, but obviously you can tell that I'm in a little bit of trouble here. He might just play queen f3. Yeah. I'm not too happy, but it shouldn't be too bad yet. I have to get rid of this guy. There's just no other way. I have to get rid of him. And now maybe knight d7, knight e5. Oh, now he can play e5, I have g6. Whew, that could be... e5, g6 is still holding on, but that could be very dangerous if there was... It might be still possible, but then I can at least play g6 and win the pawn on e5. He could still do it because he could play queen f4, queen takes h6, but okay, it's not that clear. Then I can bring my queen. It's not that clear. Otherwise, I can play knight e5. Oh, he plays e5. Okay, let's see, g6, queen g4. He wants to sacrifice on g6 apparently. That's fine with me, you can do that. Okay, I gotta move fast here. Bishop takes g6, queen g5 is my idea. Okay, we'll enter this endgame, which is worse for me. Well, okay, played bishop e4, now I can play rook b8. Oh, my time is running low. Ooh. Okay, move fast, move fast. That's all I can do at this point. And now I'm happy that it's all running smoothly. And I'm able to claim a win here. Alright, sharp game. You can see I had huge problems because, well, partly because I'm not a Ray Lopez player really, and I messed up. I messed up positionally, and maybe I shouldn't take on d4. I think that was the origin of my problems. Maybe simply move like queen e7 here. Bishop comes to a3. Maybe just rook e8 first. Okay, let's say he plays rook e1, and yeah, possibly he has a little advantage here. Maybe it's another idea to play something like, I don't know if I should allow him to play a5. Maybe I could play bishop a5, rook b8. I don't think it should be too bad, but he has a little bit of an advantage here. Okay. Alright, I'll play against Matthias.Beckmann. We'll play a bullet game. It's only my second bullet game, so why not go for another one? Just to mix it up a little bit. Okay, this is the... Whew, what is he doing? Okay, that's nice. I won a piece on c6, and now... But it's all about speed pretty much, so... Oh, grab this one as well. Okay. d5, I can take this one off. It's nice to mix it up, you know, after such a close, tight game I just had. It's nice to play some bullet, and this will give it another pace. All right, I'll enter here. Enter here. And I'm up a lot of material. I can even exchange, that's okay. And I'll win on time. Okay, alright, that was just a quick one. Let's go back to the longer games. Okay, this is really a a provocation here by this player. He says BSK, I don't know what that even stands for, is better than HSK. HSK is the club I'm playing for in Hamburg, Hamburger Schachclub. So this guy just, he wants to be beaten. He's asking for it. Okay, A3. Trying to remember my lines here, how it goes. Bramfelder Schachclub. Okay, I see. I'm not quite sure if that was how it went. Now he's coming with B4. Yeah, I don't want to allow that. I play A5, but I know it's not what I have in my repertoire. But that was kind of annoying me. Oh, he goes E4. Interesting. Okay. So now a common idea is to play on the black squares. So this is a very typical maneuver to play the knight to E6, take control. He has prevented that by playing D4 early, but that allows me, well, what it allows me, let's see. I can maybe put some pressure on the pawn on C4. At least he's not fully developed yet, so I have some options here. He still has to play one move, and maybe if I'm fast I can do something. Like A4. Let's see what happens. This looks interesting to me, and I like to try out stuff like that. He can take with the knight, and then maybe I even sacrifice the exchange with rook takes A4. Maybe not. The problem is, if he's listening right now, then he kind of knows what I'm up to, and this can be a little problem at time. Because he maybe is getting a hint on what I'm going to do. I think now I can just take on A3, yes. And I've re-won the pawn, and this is usually a good thing if you are able to open up your position, because it's usually you're a little bit cramped in here, in this kind of Marochi bind. And then if you're able to push B5 and regain the pawn, then you've usually succeeded. And it is something you want to go for. Okay. Yeah, E5. Yeah, that's a good move. I was afraid he was going to do that, and he did. Maybe I have rook A6. Rook A6? Yes. I didn't want to play D5 because it gives him the square on C5. And now if he takes on D6, I can take with the rook, and it's all cool. Rook D2 would have been a good move maybe. Queen E2 is also reasonable. Yeah, that's a good move too. Queen E2. Pinning my knight kind of. Can move it because of the rook hanging on A6. But Queen B8, I'm going out of the D-file pin. And if he takes now, I can still take back with the rook. It should be roughly equal, I would say. Should be roughly equal. I cannot speak anymore after talking for about 2 hours straight, which is maybe not surprising. But oh, knight C3, interesting. Okay, I can still not take, so queen takes A6. He's playing some good moves here. Knight C3, wow. Bishop D7, he takes on D6. I should just play rook B6. Oh, he goes back. He wants to repeat moves. But I don't want to repeat moves. I can tell you that much. I don't want to repeat. So knight D4, and after he moves to queen, I can play the rook to B4, protecting my knight on D4. And time is running down. We're both low on time. 40 seconds left for each player. It's going to heat up pretty soon. Okay, rook B4. Take with the queen, keep my pawn structure intact, that's important. Yes, rook D2, but How do I get out of this pin? Maybe it's not too bad. But currently I cannot get out. It's a little bit a bummer, but I can protect the knight again with e5, so that's my idea right now. Oh. Okay. I have to give the exchange here because I want to keep my pawns in my knight on d4, and now this will be just a matter of time. Oh, knight e2 is possible. Oh, what's going on here? Can take this one. Can go back. Now I'm up material. Keep everything protected. Okay. On that one on time, close game. He played plenty of good moves, but then when it was time running low, he had issues on the clock. Not so much in the position. The position is better for him after he gave the exchange at this point. Not easy to convert though, because my knight is so well placed on d4, and especially in a blitz game, it's very difficult to convert such kind of position. It's interesting, I could not really find a way to get out of this pin. I was thinking of knight f5, but that runs into queen c3 check, unfortunately. I'm thinking about that. Maybe it would be idea to play king g8 to answer rook fd1 with knight f5. Looks a little bit sketchy too, but I have a feeling, okay, this is bad for white because both rooks are hanging. In fact, it's still okay, rook d4, but I have a feeling there should be a way out of this situation without being much worse. Maybe here rook d1. Maybe I can just play bishop takes b3. Rook takes d4. No, rook takes d4. Yes. Yeah, simply bishop takes b3. Just winning material. Yeah, you always notice that stuff only afterwards. That's the only problem. Okay. I play against Emran, and what we haven't had yet today, knight f3. He writes me something, so I write back. This is a line I've played a couple of years back as well, just to mix it up a little bit, try something new, so not everybody would prepare against e4. It's also reasonable, and there's some tricky variations here, which unfortunately I don't remember at all, but that's okay. That's okay. I think I usually take on d5 and then bring out my pieces, and there's some ideas here. Play with e4 in the future at some point. Can play queen b3 is usually an idea because it's not so easy for him to protect the pawn on b7. Well, it is easy, but he needs to place his queen a little bit worse on c8 than it was on d8. And now rook e1. And now, why not go for e4? And I like this kind of pawn structure. There are always ideas to push with e5, and I like to play these kind of positions. Also, I see some challenges. I just want to point it out for maybe some people waiting. I see some challenges from people I've played in past subscriber specials, and unfortunately I have to tell you that I will first accept challenges from people I haven't played before, because obviously it's fair to give them an opportunity to play against me as well. So just keep that in mind in case you've been waiting. For example, I think Fear the Beard has offered me a challenge, but yeah, we've played a game already, and I've seen some other people as well. Okay, Knight b6. I just continue my development. I'm not too concerned about the knight coming to c4 because it wouldn't stay there for too long. I think his idea is to play c5 actually. He might want to play c5. This is the usual way to proceed in these kind of positions. But after c5 the pawn on d5 is hanging, so he protects it one more time with queen d7. Okay, and I want to make his life as hard as possible. Bishop e3, knight c4 might be annoying. But then again, that's okay. Just play rook d1. I'm a little bit in defense mode right now. More trying to prevent any action from him than doing myself anything proactive, but I'm gonna get there. Now, gonna play b3 next. He can take on e3. That's okay. That's the bishop. I mean, I don't want necessarily to give up this bishop, but I don't mind that much either. In fact, if he gives me a chance, I might prepare b3 by playing bishop c1. I hope he's not listening right now. And then he takes on e3. Might very well be. Oh, he plays this move. Can go to e2. Yeah. And then play bishop c1. And then play b3. And kick this knight out of this beautiful position. So, now, what is my plan? I want to push my pawns, f4, f5, but this knight doesn't have a nice square at the moment, so let's see how I can make this work. I think h4 is reasonable. The idea is to play with knight g5. Okay. How do I want to deal with this annoying move? Queen e3 looks good, and then just play a3 and push the bishop away again. Okay. So now this is out of... Okay, now maybe I have some ideas here. Knight h2, and then play queen f3. Not quite sure. I want to play h5 and then knight g4. It looks dangerous, and there are always ideas to sacrifice, so this is what I'm going for right now. However, while he's still having... Oh, okay, I think this is screaming for a sacrifice here on h6. But maybe I was over motivated. Well, let's see. Queen takes f7. Bishop h3. He might have knight g5. Oh, that's a very strong move. And in fact, it looks like I have to play on time now, which is not what I was dreaming of to do. But otherwise, I'm just going to lose. So, and this is okay. Okay, this is also Blitz. I mean, it's not pretty, I cannot say that at all, but this is also Blitz, and he played, well, he played a reasonable game. It was just, I was getting too excited here with this sacrifice. If I don't do it, if I prepare maybe better, or yeah, I need to prepare it. Just play b4. He can go back to c4, but I think if I, play bishop h3, there are always ideas, knight f6, and I think this is really dangerous for black, and it's difficult for him to create any counterplay because he would need to play b6, c5, maybe something along these lines, but whenever he plays c5, immediately this pawn on d5 becomes under attack and is causing him trouble. Okay, how about I accept a challenge by a very strong player, Tycoon. 2576, the strongest one I've ever played today. Bullet 2700, so he's not only good Blitz player, but he's an even stronger bullet player. I don't know who he is, he doesn't have a name in here, but this will be definitely a tough matchup for me. Okay, here we go. Oh, Trompovsky we see. D5, I always forget my theory here, and I think knight e5 is the move to go. And now, I think e6. C4. Yeah. But now I can give like queen a5 check. Maybe. Knight e2, this is how he answers that, okay. Yeah, you see, I don't have too much knowledge about these kind of positions. I already have to think so early in the game. I expect him really to play f3. I'm quite surprised about his choice here. But it's also pretty reasonable. I'll play g6. Queen c2. Can I play bishop f5? Is that nonsense? I'll play bishop f5. Just play some weird stuff here. Queen b3, attacking a pawn on b7. Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. I'll play queen b6. Okay, I have to speed up a little bit, because my time is not too great. Oh my goodness, I missed that move. And this is almost... Maybe it is costing me a piece, I don't know yet. I can play queen a5 back. Now he can repeat moves as he wants, but probably he wants to go for more. I would expect him so. G4, yeah, he goes for more, and that's very well. Yeah. Yeah, I should have played c4 instead. It would have still saved me. Here, I'm just down a piece, unfortunately. Yeah. So this will be very tough. Very, very, very tough. He'll just play bishop g2, castles, and... or even stronger. Even stronger. Yeah, that's hopeless. Yeah, that was not a good game at all. Now he's even coming at me with the attack, and yeah, there's nothing I can do, so I resign. Okay, that was not great, I have to admit. Okay, bishop f5. You shouldn't play moves which look weird, but okay, at this point already something has gone wrong. Maybe I should just play bishop e7 here instead. Yeah, this looks like more reasonable. But then I could still maybe keep my piece after c4, but this is not pretty. He could take on b6, take on c4, or even play knight d4. Yeah, this also looks pretty horrible. Okay, forget about this game as quickly as possible and go to the next one. Tobu 97, and I'll play with the black pieces. By the way, guys, I don't choose my opponents based on nationalities. I see that in the chat right now. It's simply the fact that that these appear in the very top of my rating of my list of people who would like to play, and then it just makes sense for me to accept them, because that means they just offered, so they're available and they're ready to play. Okay, we see a similar structure we've already seen before. This time I played another setter. I didn't place my knight on f6 but on e7. Place f4, and the typical idea is here to play a6, b5 and to create play. On the queen side he plays a4 to prevent this idea. I can follow up with rook b8, again hinting at playing b5, and he's preventing that now by playing this move. Or is he preventing it? I don't think so, because I can still do it. And if he takes on d4, I take back with the knight, and in the end there will be a check. So he's not going to win the pawn on b5, and I have succeeded in playing b5, and this is already a huge success, because now I have play against this weak pawn on b2, or now b3. This is actually a sacrifice of the rook, and I think I accept that. I think he just blundered this one. Queen a5, queen f6, maybe not, but maybe I can just take this pawn. Okay, he plays fast. I played bishop b7 to exchange the bishops and create and exploit the fact that his king is weak. One thing I need to make sure of is that he doesn't show up with queen and bishop on this long diagonal. Then I really have a huge problem, but at the moment it doesn't look like he will be able to do so. He plays d4, and now I could take, which is good, but I think c4 is even better. Having a passed pawn here, closing the diagonal, placing my queen on d5, and then this should be fairly easy to win. He plays d5, opening up, but okay, I'll take. Queen takes. Queen f6. Now this is what I was talking about. If bishop d4 was coming now, it would be all over for me. But it's my move. That means I can prevent it. Queen f5 would be one option. Rook d8 another one. Rook d7 another one. I don't want his queen to stay there on f6. Just too active, too strong. So queen f5, kicking the queen away from f6. And now I can win another tempo by playing queen d3. He can play back the queen, but then can play rook b1. I have to keep him busy, because if I give him one move, he plays bishop d4, but I don't give him this move. You see it. And now I can bring the next rook into the play. Rook b8, and once again, if he plays bishop d4, at least I was hoping I'm going to checkmate, and I have to make sure that's really the case. I wasn't even quite sure, but this makes it really easy. Let me just verify. If he plays bishop d4, is there a checkmate? Rook b1, king f2. There's gotta be something here, right? It feels like. Yeah, I mean, in the worst case, rook f1. King in the worst case. Okay, so I didn't mess up, just want to make sure. So what is going on in this game? A typical, very standard idea to play with b5. He didn't prevent it, or he couldn't prevent it maybe. And then I just had a pleasant position. He blundered the exchange on a1, and I had to be a little bit accurate to not allow him on this diagonal, but then I succeeded and I could win. Okay. I have so many challenges here. I'll play against... Who did I click now? Okay, Peter P. Stojanov. He has been waiting for a long time. I think he even wrote in the chat, so now finally finally we can play. Okay, I'm just checking the chat. And let's see what's up here. asking how long this one will last. I would say another hour maybe. Oh, people are asking me to play first g4. I don't think I'll do that. That's a little bit too much. Okay, Peter P. Stojanov, we're ready to go. Yeah, that's a good point TEH is making here. Not choosing the top challenges. The problem is if I go back, it's usually difficult to always scroll down, and like I said before, the problem is if I choose, okay, let's abort this. Peter is not here unfortunately. Okay, I'll pick somebody from the okay, I'll pick somebody from the middle. How about that? Yeah, the problem is that the likelihood that the person who is sent me a challenge just a moment ago is there and will be able to play is much higher than if I choose somebody who has been already waiting for a long time, is maybe busy doing something else. So that's always the problem. So this is why I choose my challenges from the top, and I don't see a problem with spamming the challenge thing, because, well, I don't see how that's a problem anyway. Okay, I'm playing against jaume.rv from Spain. Here he is. I don't think you can see him, but we're having a close Sicilian. I play with a6 and b5, immediately putting pressure on the center, and it's pretty standard to play here. e6, I think d5 is fairly typical, and now d4. Okay, and he can play e5, and I put my knight to d5. It's always this interesting position. Well, like, it's kind of close, but then again the long diagonal is completely open, so it's very interesting. Okay, so plays a4. That means I can put a knight on b4 because he has just weakened the square. So I'll do that, and then I will play rook c8, d4, something along these lines, to open up the files, and he will probably try to go for a king attack in one way or the other. So the question will be, who is going to be faster? b3. I could have just played knight c3. Always gotta be attentive. Yeah, now it's too late, unfortunately. Now he prevented that. But okay, I play my queen to b6. That is the natural square for a queen, and he prevented c4. Okay. Still, it looks like the move to go. I just have to play this move. It looks like the move that needs to be played in this position. It is tempting me so much. I've put almost all my pieces on the right squares. The rook maybe belongs to d8. I was not attentive once again. I could have taken on d3 instead of taking back on b5. That's just the thing when you're commenting at the same time, that you're sometimes missing stuff. That's okay. So now he can take. He doesn't take. All right. Wow, bishop a3 is leaving a lot of squares uncovered. Okay, so I'll go here, and then I'm just going to enter rook c2. And now the knight is coming to e3, and suddenly he's under a lot of pressure. At least that was my idea. Another move is knight c3, also looks fairly strong. Gotta make a decision. Knight e3, rook b1 is not killing him quite. I like to play knight to c3. He will play queen f3. but all my pieces are really in his business, and now he has blundered the pawn on d3, which is good because that was really a crucial pawn which kept everything together. The knight on e4, square on c4. Very complex now. Let's see what's happening. Queen f3. My bishop is hanging, my knight is hanging, so I might just go back. Because if I take on a3, he takes on d3. And rook and... how about that? Rook takes d2. This one is pinned. And now the e4 piece is also hanging, and now everything is falling apart. Okay, I just knew something had to be possible, so I was looking a little bit closer, and when there's so many pieces bundled up, you oftentimes may miss something. So I'm happy I was able to spot that, and now his position just crumbles. Okay, he gives the queen, but the attack, will the attack continue like that? Maybe we'll continue another way. Queen b2 looks like a move. Okay, if he takes on f8, I play knight f2, rook takes, queen takes a1, and then I'll just be up a queen. So okay, he resigns. Whew. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like the critical variation would be to take twice on c4, but knight c3 as well as knight e3 look pretty good for me. Now the knight on e4 is hanging, and this pawn on c4, it just feels like it's just a matter of time until it will fall, and this pawn on e3 could be pretty annoying. I could maybe stabilize with bishop c5, I could play knight d6, but still, in the end, even if I take on d6 now, he takes on e3, it's always the case that I'm left with the better pawn structure here. And in fact here I can even play knight takes c2. Okay, I need to use the restroom, so I'll do a very quick break, be back in just about 2 or 3 minutes. I heard that you need to refresh the live stream, so just make sure to refresh it 2 or 3 minutes so to not miss when I'm going to be back, so you're not like missing all the action pretty much. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment. Bye.